3 News Now this week.
Omaha's well-known conservative talk show host Chris Baker is out of a job this evening after he posted a tweet last night referencing the verdict in the Derek Chauvin trial. The tweet was deemed offensive and ultimately resulted in Baker's firing from KFAB after working there the last 9 years. 3 News Now reporter Alyssa Curtis is live in front of the radio station with some reaction to the tweet. Hey, Alyssa.
Hey, Maya. Yeah, that tweet that Baker posted was posted just minutes after the verdict in the trial of Derek Chauvin was announced, and we're going to show you the guys that tweet right now, but we do want to warn you, you may find it offensive.
Baker tweeted, "Guilty," accompanied with an image of Indigenous people of color dancing. That tweet has since been deleted. In a statement to 3 News Now, iHeartMedia, which owns KFAB, called the tweet unacceptable. Charles Taylor Willey, iHeartMedia's area president, said the post does not represent their viewpoint or their values, and they take this very seriously. They added that Baker's employment has been terminated. Dr. Nikita Imani, a professor of Black Studies at UNO, says Baker's tweet is offensive because of the image he chose. Imani says it shows a trope in which Black people are viewed of as less intelligent and of lower civilization.
And what's really being pushed there is not simply the statement that people of African descent are celebrating the verdict, but also to associate people of African descent with a lower level of civilization.
Very soon after the tweet was posted, many condemned it, including Nebraska Senator John McCollister. McCollister said Baker's post crossed a line.
If we want the Republican Party to be viable again, we must take a stand against hateful messages like this. We all have a responsibility, particularly radio stations, TV stations, the newspaper, to present information in a fair and balanced way. But like I say, I think this particular tweet crossed the line.
The tweet also invoked a national response. CARE, the National Council on American Islamic Relations, released a statement before the announcement of Baker's firing and called for his resignation. They also called for him to meet with leaders to learn from his mistake.
Look, in our society, we condemn each other far too often, right? People make mistakes, but you want to give people a chance to grow and learn from their mistakes.
Now, in a statement to our news partner, the Omaha World-Herald, Baker blamed what happened on accidentally posting the wrong picture, and he said he took it down as soon as he could, and he told the World-Herald, quote, "That's not who I am." Local restaurant Fernando's has announced that they have since terminated their relationship with KFAB. Mitch Tempest, the owner of Fernando's, told me that they cannot support Baker's viewpoint and it does not reflect the values of their business. Reporting in Omaha, Alyssa Curtis, 3 News Now.
Now you can find more about this story, including Baker's tweet, on our website, 3newsnow.com.
The 2 suspects of Saturday's West Roads mall shooting had their first court appearance today. 16-year-old Mekhi Woolridge Jones is facing 4 charges. Murder in the first degree, assault in the first degree, and 2 counts of use of firearm to commit a felony. He is being held without bond and being tried as an adult.
Juvenile court only has jurisdiction for another couple of years on him. So with our statute says that depending on the nature of the charge itself and kind of a history, that's what goes into whether they should be charged as a juvenile.
His brother, 18-year-old Brandon Woolridge Jones, is being charged with 1 count of accessory to a Class 1A felony. County Attorney Don Klein says it seems to be gang-related. At the court hearing, it was revealed Mekhi does have bipolar disorder, which will be a mitigating factor in the case.
But it certainly isn't an excuse for making somebody not responsible for their behavior. It may be a mitigating factor of some kind with regard to the mental health issues.
The incident has rattled both customers and shop owners. Shoppers who were at the mall when the shooting happened described the incident as stressful.
And I don't think I'll ever be able to come back here again.
Owner of Lawler's Custom Sportswear, Pat Lawler, says Saturday's incident fortified his decision to close his West Roads location. Lawler says between the pandemic and now the shootings, he can't keep asking customers to experience these horrible events. In a statement to 3 News Now, Brookfield Properties, which owns Westroads Mall, said they are deeply saddened by this heinous crime. They said the safety and security of shoppers, tenants, and employees is their #1 priority. Westroads Mall will be utilizing a weapon-detecting canine to patrol the mall and have enhanced security measures. Reporting in Omaha, Alyssa Curtis, 3 News Now.
As we continue to highlight women-owned businesses in our area, tonight I take you to Ralston, where an idea that started out as something cheap and fun to make for customers at a bar has blossomed into a fast-growing company with big ideas. Take a look.
We're literally the only company in the United States that sells solely deviled eggs, especially gourmet deviled eggs. What's so amazing about the product, from my perspective, is that I'm gluten-free, and it's something that tastes good and looks good, but is gluten-free, keto-friendly. We have dairy-free, vegetarian, and soy options.
With help from IC Ventures, the Shark Tank of Omaha, this deviled egg business has been given the tools to grow.
I had the passion and I had the drive and I had this great idea that I knew could work, but I didn't have accounting experience. I did some sales, but I didn't have the level of sales that I needed. I didn't understand SEO or website development or, all of those things that you need to know to be successful. And so it was so amazing to be brought into this and have them at your fingertips just to mentor you.
In just a few months, this company has grown from solely word-of-mouth clients to being in Hy-Vee stores during the holidays, to partnering with Abraham Catering, a Ralston-based company.
We have the Deviled Egg Co. trailer. We're excited about all those events coming up with junk stock and farmers markets, and we've asked to do private events at churches and things like that.
The women of Deviled Egg Co. are not stopping with local recognition. They want to be known nationwide.
Very soon we will be announcing our nationwide shipping, which is so exciting to be able to ship our eggs. We've seen a huge demand for people around the country.
All of this growth has allowed them to focus on giving back to the community.
Deviled Egg Co., especially during the holidays, really made a focus of giving back to all of those essential workers. And I come from a family of essential workers, and so I was able to get my sister and her workplace free deviled eggs. They were able to give some to Methodist Hospital. There was a big open door mission donation of 1,500 eggs just this past Easter.
This woman-owned business has employed other women as well, including one recent graduate from UNO.
It's very, very inspiring at such a young age to be able to see, Rachel kind of taking charge of this business and just learning from her as an empowered woman.
Rachel Van Buskirk knows she would never have grown as fast as she did without the help from her staff.
I've been in the service industry for so long, and you miss so many holidays and so many special events, and to know that all these people are doing that for me, just not something you take for granted.
COVID-19 has been in the forefront for over a year now, and it can be easy to forget that other health issues are still very much prevalent. Now, the CDC found that STD rates have hit yet another record high in 2019, and Douglas County is above the national average. 3 News Now reporter Ruda Sinaida joined us live in the newsroom to break down this alarming data. Hey, Ruda.
Good evening, Maya. The data is startling. A 30% increase in STDs from 2015 to 2019, making 2019 the 6th consecutive year that STD rates have reached an all-time high. On top of that, we reported months ago that STD clinics had to close their doors to focus on vaccination efforts, leaving the community worried about where that will leave us after the pandemic. It's an issue not many are comfortable talking about, but an issue that needs to be addressed. Sexually transmitted diseases are at an all-time high nationally for the 6th year in a row. CDC released new data that shows not only are STD rates skyrocketing, but there are serious discrepancies in the communities experiencing that spike. For example, in 2019, STD rates for Black people were 5 to 8 times higher than those that are white.
It's sad, I feel like we're not doing our job properly educating the community. Awareness is the #1 to alleviate some of this issue.
Dr. Sammy Zenadine with CHI Health not only has seen higher rates of STDs at his clinic, but all throughout Douglas County.
Douglas County has historically had one of the highest STD rates in the country.
Looking at chlamydia rates alone, Douglas County fares worse than both Nebraska and the national average.
So we aren't necessarily the worst, but it's not great. And I think part of that is just because we have such an increased testing amount here.
Douglas County Health STD Prevention and Control Supervisor Leah Kazanove says thanks to multiple community efforts, the county is testing at a much higher rate than the rest of the state, hence those higher numbers. But now the Douglas County STD Clinic isn't testing at all. It has been closed for the last 4 months so staff can be utilized to help with the COVID-19 vaccination effort.
I'm glad we have such good connections with our community partners because they've been kind of picking up the slack when we haven't been able to.
Planned Parenthood in Omaha has stepped up to test and treat individuals during the pandemic.
Our Omaha clinic specifically, we've actually been seeing higher than average testing numbers.
Andy says that is good news. If people don't get tested, more spread occurs, especially when many STDs don't have any symptoms. She says regular checkups are what's going to prevent a health crisis within a health crisis.
Are we going to be having another epidemic when we come back? I mean, like we essentially moved from this one to an STD one.
Health officials say they expect to see similar numbers in 2020, despite some clinic closures.
Yeah, and Ruta, that data is very interesting. And I know you mentioned that Black people had up to 8 times the STD rates than white individuals in 2019. What about other groups of people?
Well, Maya, the data shows that the STD burden is unequal in different groups of people. For example, American Indians and other Pacific Islanders had 3 to 5 times the rates of white individuals, and the Latino population had 1 to 2 times the rate of white individuals.
Yeah, those are some real discrepancies there. Did the medical experts offer an insight as to why this is?
I talked to multiple health officials and they blame it on lack of resources, lack of education, and lack of access to health care. It's a problem they say they're working on to help overcome, especially with new efforts like at-home STD testing that people can simply just send back for free. They hope that picks up in popularity if people aren't comfortable going into the office.
Now, is there any word on when the Douglas County STD clinic will open back up?
Unfortunately, they don't think that clinic will open up until late summer because it is expected that more of the younger population will soon be able to get vaccinated for COVID-19, and they'll need all hands on deck for that. Fortunately, Planned Parenthood, as well as Charles Drew and One World Community Health, are still open for STD testing at low cost, so you can get some of those services there.
All right, good information there. Thank you, Ruta. Now, for more on this in-depth look at high STD rates in our area and more resources, visit our website, 3newsnow.com. There you can read more about the data and what local health officials are saying.
Adam's an amazing individual. He epitomizes what Denison stands for.
You don't really believe that it could happen, especially to somebody like that's so deeply about. Yeah, so amazing.
When talking to people who know Adam Burns, there's one word that comes to mind: selfless.
He will put anyone's needs above his own.
From the day he entered this community, he bought into this community. He's a leader. He's an amazing father. He's an amazing husband.
Nick Bradley is a fellow coach and teacher who is feeling a flurry of emotions. Still, he keeps faith in the phrase, Adam Strong.
This is a difficult situation for all involved, being a young father, being a young husband. But he's strong, and I know he's going to get through this.
Hannah Neiman, Ellie Magnuson, and Paige Anderson organized the send-off. Burns is their basketball coach, but the word team is now taking a different form.
We thought about it because like our school teams make it to state, we do something like this. And we did it for state basketball our sophomore year, and Coach Burns loved it. So we just thought it'd be a way to make his day better.
With emotions running high, people are in dire need of hope.
Just be strong, just be guys. He loves you guys so much.
Leaning on each other to show support for this selfless man who has shown up countless times for them.
We love you, always compete.
Reporting in Denison, Isabella Basco, 3 News Now.
The great outdoors can become not so great when you spot 1, 2, or even 7 ticks after a hike. That's what happened to Paige Day, who recently found ticks not only on herself, but on her dog, too.
Panicked for just a second because it's kind of an odd sensation to have a tick on your head.
She says ticks are a problem all over Omaha, with many taking to social media to complain.
I definitely feel like they're out in full force more so than they normally are.
Jody Green, entomologist with Nebraska Extension, says there are a few reasons why that could be.
Normally peak tick season is in May, but since we had warmer temperatures and more people were going outside, we had people talking about ticks and sending us pictures in the beginning of March.
There's a variety of tick species, but only black-legged ticks, also called deer ticks, carry the specific bacteria that can transmit Lyme disease. The last time we saw them in Omaha was 2019.
We do have the American dog tick and the Lone Star tick, and they also can spread different diseases, just not Lyme disease.
Removing ticks properly is important, both to keep yourself safe and for the tick to be properly identified. If the tick is on you, simply remove it and place it in a bag. But if it's embedded in your skin,
you want to use pointy tweezers and get the tick as close to the skin as possible and then pull straight up.
Dr. Rudy Catula, an infectious disease physician with Methodist Physicians Clinic, says some Lyme disease symptoms to look out for include
headaches, fevers, and you develop rash. Up to 70 to 80% of patients develop a rash.
Symptoms need to be treated quickly with antibiotics. The longer you wait, the worse it gets.
It can penetrate other tissues. It can penetrate the brain. It can penetrate the heart. Okay. And it can penetrate the nerves.
Dr. Catula says ticks shouldn't prevent people from enjoying nature, especially after a year of staying mostly inside.
Please get outside, but educate yourself.
Reporting in Omaha, Danielle Meadows, 3 News Now.
Former Harlem Globetrotter and Omaha native Pee Wee Harrison is back in town for the first I Choose Love event. On May 1st, they're asking volunteers to participate in a cleanup project called One Block at a Time, I Choose Love Pathways to Schools. They plan to beautify the streets from 30th and Binney all the way to Florence and Binney. They hope to have the neighborhood cleaned up for the children to enjoy over the summer.
We need volunteers, we need contractors, we need individuals that specialize in concrete work, individuals specialize in painting, individuals specialize in lawn care. So if you fit that bill and you want to help make a difference between 30th and Binney to Florence Boulevard, we would love to have you come out and be a part of the I Choose Love team. We get you t-shirts and we get your company's name put on the back.
Harrison hopes this will be the first of many events in our area that will help unify first responders with the community.
Today we mark Earth Day, but there are some people and businesses living the meaning behind it every single day. Locally, Hillside Solutions operates Gretna Sanitation and Soil Dynamics. The company runs the only industrial compost farm in the Omaha area. And I recently got to see how they're working together with local organizations.
It's a really busy time.
Growing season is year-round at the Big Garden in Omaha.
We do a lot to help the community have greater access to fresh garden produce.
They teach classes, build community gardens at schools and nonprofits, and grow food they can donate to pantries.
We have about 50 gardens that we currently tend to this growing season, and so we need to amend that soil every year and get some good compost in there.
The nonprofit gets soil from a company called Soil Dynamics. They also help make that soil. Here at the Big Garden, they compost everything from extra scraps left over from employee lunches to food left over from classes they teach. We wanted to know how it goes from that to this. So we came to this Soil Dynamics site near the airport to learn more about the process.
Most people understand recycling. People make things and we're going to reuse those things. That's recycling. Composting is nature makes things and we're going to reuse those things that nature makes.
Soil Dynamics uses this site near the airport as a transfer location. You can see mulch made from local trees. A lot of their soil goes through the year-long composting process in Ashland. They weed out plastic and use food scraps and yard waste, but they can compost much more. They even work with the zoo, so some of their soil might have some animal waste mixed in.
In an industrial setting, we can take meat, dairy, bones, we can take non-recyclable papers. Restaurants have a lot of compostable takeout serviceware.
They've teamed up with dozens of schools. Those are compostable lunch trays.
we have to start reusing our waste instead of just burying it in the ground where it puts off methane gas and causes other issues.
As they work to operate even cleaner, a fleet of their Gretna sanitation trucks runs on compressed natural gas. They receive incentives from Black Hills Energy. People, businesses, and organizations working together.
So there's a wonderful community of farmers and businesses that are composting and our site that connect each other and have that whole loop that's going on and helps out our environment.
For a better, healthier future. And now here's a way anyone can get involved. Soil Dynamics has a compost club. You become a member for a monthly fee, then you can drop off your materials at a bunch of sites. You can then get some soil for yourself or donate credits to nonprofits like the Big Garden. We have the details right now on 3newsnow.com.
Out in Bennington sits Pheasant Point Landfill, a place where Douglas County authorities say an illegal weight manipulation scheme took place. According to the arrest affidavits, the 5 employees involved would manipulate the 2 required weigh-ins in different ways, guaranteeing themselves a profit and often a discount for the hauler dumping their load.
Trucks would come in, they would fudge on the weight of the truck, either where it was coming out or coming in.
The court documents say the supervisor would then divvy out money as tips to employers later in the day. The documents show that during less than a 3-month period from June of 2020 to August of 2020, they manipulated 336 loads of trash. Waste Management, who owns and operates the landfill, estimates they lost around $350,000 over the last 3 years. It's unknown how much the landowner, Douglas County, and the state of Nebraska lost.
This is, taxpayer money. The county's out money here. Waste Management's out money. The landowner's out money. The state of Nebraska's out money here. So we want to make sure that the message is sent that we're not going to tolerate this kind of behavior.
Friday afternoon, 3 employees, Suzanne Swanson, Mark Helmberger, Anaya Lara, and the supervisor, Mark Huntley, had their first appearance in court. They were joined by 2 contractors that authorities also arrested, Hector Flores and Gary Cooper. All 6 were given $20,000 bonds. Another employee, James Suduka, was arrested Friday afternoon. County Attorney Don Klein says they're still going through financial documents and old video. One employee that was not arrested told authorities that the scheme has been ongoing since 1995. Klein says they're investigating.
We think the scheme was going on for a longer period of time, maybe even years.
In Douglas County, John Kipper, 3 News Now.